Today, we're talking about supply and demand. Supply and demand, one of the most fundamental forces that literally shapes our entire reality. We live in a market economy. That means there's no central authority telling everyone the price of this product or this service will be exactly this much. Everywhere, all year round. In a market economy, prices are formed by a very simple, very transparent mechanism: supply and demand. Let's take a recent example, something we all experience together. There's a mask market. Manufacturers produce masks in certain quantities. Normally, masks aren't exactly a necessity, not like sugar or salt. Sure, people buy them, but not in huge numbers. And then a pandemic hits. Suddenly, masks become as valuable as salt, sugar, and bread. But supply isn't ready for that. Stocks were calculated based on the idea that maybe 1 in 1,000 people might need them. Now, every single person does. Before that, masks were everywhere. Nobody wanted them. Supply was much higher than demand. Now, it's the opposite. Everyone needs masks, but there aren't enough to go around. Demand skyrockets, supply collapses. Prices rise fast. That's exactly what we saw. A mask that used to cost $10 suddenly went up to $20, then $50. I personally know someone who bought one for $120, and then prices fell again. Why? Because selling masks for $50 was insanely profitable. And when something is profitable, people start making more of it. Suddenly, everyone who could sew started sewing masks. That's how supply catches up. Eventually, supply and demand balanced out. Everyone who needed a mask bought one, and prices returned to normal levels. This principle works everywhere, on every level, from your local store to the global market. If the price goes up, it means the thing is valuable. If it goes down, it's not. And that applies to everything: currencies, smartphones, designer clothes, flowers on Valentine's Day. Everything is ruled by supply and demand. So here's the first important conclusion. How much can a mask cost? As much as someone is willing to pay. Why did a mask cost $120 during the pandemic? Because there was someone ready to pay that price. And that rule applies universally to all goods, all services, everything. An English lesson might cost $2 or $500. If there's a person willing to pay that much, that's the price. Even socks have no price ceiling. They can cost whatever people are willing to give. Now let's go deeper. This next point is about something much more personal: your personality, your self-realization, your success, your happiness. The principle of supply and demand doesn't only apply to products and services. It also applies to people. In a market economy, a person, in many ways, becomes a product. So if you want to be successful, wealthy, and fulfilled, you need to create demand for yourself from other people. You need to offer something no one else has, but everyone wants. Both sides matter. You can be incredibly smart, but if you don't know how to make others want what you can do, it won't work. So here's the second big conclusion. In a market economy, your happiness depends on the demand for you. If you can create that demand, you'll succeed, self-actualize, and be happy. If not, you won't. And how to create demand for yourself? That's a whole different topic. Today we talked about supply and demand. Next time, we'll talk about market and planned economies. See you later.